The air was thick with the scent of salt and pine as I pulled into the driveway of my new home, a weathered seaside cottage at Crescent Cove. I'm Claire Bennett, a 38-year-old graphic designer from Portland, Maine, who'd just inherited this place from my aunt, Margaret, a free-spirited artist who'd filled my childhood with color and courage. After a brutal divorce and a career that left me drained, this cottage was my lifeline, a chance to rebuild, to breathe. I'd barely set my first box of sketchbooks on the porch when a sleek black SUV screeched to a stop at the edge of my property. A woman in a crisp blazer, clutching a tablet like it was a weapon, stepped out, followed by two sheriff's deputies. A knot of neighbors lingered nearby, their whispers sharp as the ocean breeze. That was my first run-in with Vivian Pierce, president of the Crescent Cove Homeowners Association. "Ma'am, you need to stop right there," one deputy said, his hand resting on his belt as if I were smuggling contraband instead of moving in. Vivian didn't bother with pleasantries. She tapped her tablet and declared, "This individual is in violation of HOA bylaws. This property isn't zoned for permanent residency." My jaw dropped. "I own this cottage," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "My aunt left it to me." Vivian's eyes narrowed. "Our records say otherwise. Crescent Cove is for vacation homes only." The deputy stepped closer. "ID, ma'am. You'll need to come with us to clear this up." My heart hammered. Was I about to be hauled off before I could even unpack? As I fumbled for my wallet, my phone buzzed an unknown number. I ignored it, but caught Vivian muttering to the deputy, "Move her out fast. After 48 hours, it's a legal nightmare to remove her." The neighbors stared, waiting for my next move. This wasn't a mix-up. It was an ambush. Let me rewind. Margaret's cottage was more than a house site, was where I'd spent summers learning to paint, where she'd taught me to chase dreams over rules. When she passed 7 months ago, leaving me this place, I saw it as my shot at a fresh start. I quit my soul-sucking job, packed my car, and drove 4 hours to Crescent Cove. But in the time since Margaret's death, the HOA had shifted. Vivian Pierce, a 50-something real estate mogul with a smile as cold as the Atlantic, had taken over, enforcing rules that turned the cove into her personal kingdom. To her, I was an outsider, a threat to her curated coastal paradise. The cottage was just as I remembered, driftwood gray shingles, a widow's walk overlooking the sea, Margaret's initials etched on the mailbox. I was unloading art supplies when I noticed Vivian's SUV circling slowly. Minutes later, more cars gathered near the community board, their drivers pointing and whispering. I thought it was just small-town curiosity until the deputies arrived, their lights cutting through the fog. Vivian strode forward, tablet in hand. "This is my property," I said, standing my ground. "I have the deed." She smirked. "You're violating Bylaw 4, Section 3. No permanent residence without board approval." The deputy asked for my ID, and panic surged in me. License still showed my old Portland address. Would that make me look like I didn't belong? Then my phone rang again. "Miss Bennett, this is Diane from the county clerk's office," a voice said. "There's an issue with your property transfer." The call dropped. Before I could react, the deputy said, "Ma'am, come with us." Vivian whispered, "She's done if we act now." A beat-up blue pickup roared up the drive, and out stepped Ray, Margaret's old friend, a grizzled fisherman with a voice like gravel. "What the hell's going on?" he barked, glaring at Vivian. "This is Margaret's niece, and that cottage is hers, legal and square." The deputy hesitated. Ray turned to Vivian. "Your HOA doesn't run this town." I scrambled inside, grabbed the deed, and handed it over. The deputy scanned it and nodded. "Looks legit, Miss Bennett. Sorry for the hassle." Vivian's face tightened. "She still needs to submit HOA forms," she snapped. "When I'm settled," I shot back, "in my home." The deputies left, the crowd thinned, but I knew Vivian wasn't finished. Over the next few days, I tried to make the cottage mine, hanging Margaret's old paintings, scrubbing salt from the windows, sipping tea on the porch as waves crashed below. But on day 3, I found an HOA notice taped to my door: vacate or comply within 48 hours, or face legal action. I decided to face Vivian at the HOA meeting. The community center was a tense bubble of folding chairs and stale coffee. Vivian, in a navy suit, ran the show like a courtroom. "We have an unauthorized resident," she announced, eyeing me. I stood. "I'm no squatter." I own my cottage, and I won't be intimidated. A few neighbors murmured agreement. An elderly woman spoke up. This isn't your personal empire, Vivian. Vivian's smile didn't waver, but her eyes burned. 2 days later, I woke to a crash. My private property sign was gone, replaced by a red sticker on my door. Occupancy under review. Vivian stood in my driveway with a man in a suit holding a legal notice. This is going to court, she said icily. Get a lawyer. Ray's voice cut through. She's got one. Enter Laura Mills, my attorney, a no-nonsense woman with a stare that could crack ice. This sticker's illegal, she said, ripping it off. You're harassing my client, and we've got proof. Vivian retreated, but the battle was just beginning. Then came the smoke. I woke to the stench of burning wood, my backyard fire pit roaring, my wicker chairs reduced to ash. Neighbors rushed over, and the fire chief confirmed arson gasoline, deliberate. Across the cove, Vivian watched, calm as ever. I was done being polite. Laura filed an arson report, and we posted my story online, exposing the police call, the sticker, the fire. It exploded, shared by thousands. Neighbors like Tom and Ellen rallied, sharing their own tales of Vivian's tyranny. News vans rolled in, and the pressure grew. Vivian struck back, padlocking my dock with a sign claiming it as HOA property. I grabbed a wrench, but Laura stopped me. That's trespassing, she said. We're suing. That night, a gray sedan pulled up. Assistant DA Paul Carter stepped out. We're investigating Vivian for misconduct and possible arson, he said. Your security footage is critical. Days later, Vivian was detained for tossing a brick at my mailbox during a confrontation, violating a restraining order. But Vivian's ally, Evelyn Reed, took over as acting HOA president. She was quieter, sharper, sending polite notices about my dock's noncompliance. Laura found a rule. HOA decisions without a full board vote could be overturned with 4 signatures. We rallied Tom, Ellen, and others, filing a petition. Evelyn sent fake inspectors, but we shut them down. The state opened an inquiry into the HOA, and at a town hall, neighbors unleashed years of grievances. A state official served Evelyn with a suspension order, halting all HOA actions. Then Laura uncovered a bombshell, a clause in Margaret's will allowing me to withdraw my cottage from the HOA. At the hearing, I presented it. The judge ruled my property free from HOA control. The room roared with cheers. I filed a suit against Evelyn for harassment and sabotage. Outside, a reporter asked my message. Fight back, I said. Your home is yours. That night, we held a bonfire on the beach. Neighbors brought clams and stories, laughing under the stars. Ray toasted, to Claire, and to a free Crescent Cove. As I stood by the water, the tide soft, I knew I'd won more than a cottage. I'd won my place. What would you do if this were your fight? Tell me below.